Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading today Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 4, Verse 34. O Srimad Bhagavatam, my only friend, my companion and my teacher, O my great wealth and deliverer, O my good fortune and bliss, I offer respectful obeisances unto you. Galantarat Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Please repeat after me. Yasmin, in whom Mahat Guna, exalted transcendental qualities, Rajan, O King, Griyante, are glorified, Kavibi, by persons who are thoughtful and advanced in knowledge. Muhu, always. Na, not. Te, those. Aduna, today. Pityante, are obscured. Yata, just as. Bhagavati, in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishvare, the Supreme Controller. Yasmin Mahaguna Rajan. Yasmin Mahaguna Rajan. Griyante Kavibir Muhu. Griyante Kavibir Muhu. Nate Duna Pidiyante. Nate Duna Pidiyante. Yata Bhagavatishvare. Yata Bhagavatishvare. Yasmin Mahaguna Rajan. Griyante Kavibir Muhu. Nate Duna Pidiyante. Yata Bhagavatishvare. Yasmin Mahat Punarajan Kriyante Kavibirmuhu Nuna Pridiyante
Yasmin Mahat Punarajan Kriyante Kavibirmuhu Nate Duna Pidijante Yata Bhagavati Svare
Yasmin Mahat Punarajan
Yasmin Mahat Punarajan
Kriyante Kavibirmuhu
Kriyante Kavibirmuhu Nate Duna Pidiyante Yata Bhagavati Svare. Thank you, Matajis. Yasmin Mahat Punarajan Kriyante Kavibirmuhu Nate Duna Pidiyante Yata Bhagavati Svare. Thank you. So we are in the chapter called Hiranyakashipu terrorized the universe. So we heard a lot about Hiranyakashipu's power, how he was over all the demigods. Only Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva were still having some independence, but everyone else was following Hiranyakashipu. And now, even though we did not start a new chapter, we already start to hear about the glories of Prahlad. And this is Narada Muni speaking to King Yudhishthira. Huh? This is the situation. So the verse of today goes like this, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O King, Prahlad Maharaj's good qualities are still glorified by learned saints and Vaisnavas. As all good qualities are always found existing in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they also exist forever in His devotees. In His devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. Purport. From authoritative scriptures, it is learned that Prahlad Maharaj still lives in Vaikuntha Loka, as well as within this material world, on the planet Sutala. This transcendental quality of existing simultaneously in different places is another qualification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Goloka eva nivasati akilatma bhuta. The Lord appears in the core of everyone's heart, yet He exists on His own planet, Goloka Vrindavan. A devotee acquires qualities almost the same as those of the Lord because of unalloyed devotional service. Ordinary living beings cannot be so qualified, but a devotee can be qualified like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not in full, but partially. The verse again, O King, Prahlad Maharaj's good qualities are still glorified by learned saints and Vaishnavas. As all good qualities are always found existing in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they also exist forever in His devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. Om Gyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Surato Pangor Mamamanda Matergati Matsarvasva Padambujo Radha Madana Mohano Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master, with the torchlight of knowledge, has opened my eyes. Therefore, I offer him my respectful obeisances. So today's first, before starting, I like to ask for your kind blessings and good wishes, so that I may be good instruments in the Lord's hands for speaking on Bhagavatam. I do not have much realization myself, but I will try to repeat what I have heard in those subject matter. So this is Narada Muni speaking to King Yudhishthir, and he is explaining that all the good qualities of Prahlad Maharaj are still now being glorified. Actually, he said, Prahlad Maharaj's good quality are still glorified by learned saint and Vaisnavas. And then he gives the point that as the qualities of Krishna, they are actually exhibited in his own devotees to a particular extent, not to a full extent, but for Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada brings that in the purport, that one who is in doing unalloyed devotional service, he is receiving all the a lot of qualities of the Lord to a minute degree, much smaller than what actually Krishna himself is exhibiting. And we find this actually in the Nectar of Devotion, when Srila Rupa Goswami mentioned all the 64 qualities of the Lord, and in the first 50 qualities is actually saying that those are partially present into the jiva, into the human beings. But then he said there are 4 more that actually are present in plus in Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. And like that's, we have changeless, all cognizant, ever fresh, Satchitananda, and possessing all mystic perfection. Those qualities are in plus present into the demigod, and then he gives 5 more qualities that are present in Narayan, in plus, and then he brings 4 last qualities that are present only in him, in Sri Krishna. Anyone knows those 4 last qualities present only in Krishna that not even Narayan has?
Is one of them the flute? Playing the flute?
Playing the flute, yeah.
It's beauty.
Yeah, inconceivable beauty. No. That Narayan also has it.
Surrounded by gopis.
Surrounded by gopis, I think it's there, yes. Yeah, we have almost all of them. So he's the performer of wonderful variety of pastimes. So there are no other incarnations. Even Narayan, some pastimes are there, but not much. But Krishna is really like a huge variety of amazing pastimes. He's surrounded by devotees endowed with wonderful love of Godhead, gopis. He can attract all living entities all over the universe by playing his flute. And he has wonderful excellence of beauty, which cannot be revealed anywhere in the creation. So this is what we hear from the Nectar of Devotion. And in Srimad Bhagavatam we have another verse, or no, actually in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that mention the qualities. At that time it's mentioned 26 qualities of the devotees that are exhibited in the devotees. Maybe I just read it because it's very nice. And maybe as I read you can think of one of them that you feel you would like most to have, that you need most. Devotees are always merciful, humble, truthful, equal to all, faultless, magnanimous, mild and clean. They are without material possessions and they perform welfare work for everyone. They are peaceful, surrendered to Krishna and desireless. They are indifferent to material acquisition and are fixed in devotional service. They completely control the 6 bad qualities, lust, anger, greed, and so forth. They eat only as much as required, and they are not intoxicated. They are respectful, grave, compassionate, and without false prestige. They are friendly, poetic, expert, and silent. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhyam Lila 22:78-80. So here we have another mention of the qualities of the devotees. But those qualities, like the qualities of Lord Krishna, they are actually unlimited. Rupa Goswami gives 64 to give us an idea, but those qualities have actually no end, the qualities of the Lord. And here Srila Prabhupada brings an interesting point into the purport. He gives the example that how is it putting that? That Prahlad Maharaj can be present in the spiritual, is at the same time present in the spiritual world, and at the same time in Sutala, Loka, present into the material world. It can be both. And Prabhupada explained that this is also a quality of the Lord, who can be in different places, and that's happening to Prahlad Maharaj being also in a different place. And there was also Srila Prabhupada quote some Sanskrit in the verse and give the example like Krishna is all the time in his own spiritual abode, and at the same time he is in the heart of all living entity. He can be at different places at the same time. And Srila Prabhupada also brings that because of their unalloyed devotional service, the devotees are actually receiving a lot of the good qualities of Krishna to some minute extent. Krishna has them all in full extent, full power, 100% all. But we have some a little bit here, a little bit there in minute quantities. So here we have actually a point of the glories of the Vaisnavas. Narada Muni is glorifying Prahlad Maharaj, and he is feeling a lot of pleasure glorifying Prahlad Maharaj. I was thinking every morning we sing also Ebe Yacha Yuchuk Tribhuvana. May your glories be proclaimed in all the 3 worlds. This is actually very, very nice, and it is so much part of the Vaishnava culture to glorify other Vaishnavas, and we will a little bit look into this topic today. My spiritual master was writing an article on Vaishnava Association, Vaishnava Sangha, and he gave a very nice example. He said, if you want honey, you might like to go to the flowers, but you will not get much honey from the flowers. You have to go actually to the bees who are transforming the pollen into honey. So in the same way, actually, if you want the honey of Krishna consciousness, you don't approach the Lord directly, but you approach through his devotees. And I just want to read what he writes. He said, an example may help us in this regard. If we want to have honey, don't go to the flowers. Go to the beehive nearby, and you will get the honey. In the same way, if you want to get bhakti and taste the bhakti ras, don't go directly to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Go to those bee-like devotees who have drawn the honey from the lotus feet of the Lord and who are merciful enough to give it to you. So this is glories of the devotees. And I have another verse from Bhagavatam 11.8.6, purport that glorifies also the devotee, and here it glorifies the mood of the devotees. A sincere devotee of the Lord is always eager to meet the Lord and render him transcendental service. He wants to remain fixed as an atom at the lotus feet of the Lord because Lord Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. He rejoices when experiencing pure Krishna consciousness, and he is morose when Krishna is not present in his mind. In his dealings with material world, a devotee cannot be disturbed by ordinary materialistic people who sometimes insult him and accuse him of neglecting material sense gratification, just as the ocean cannot be disturbed by the innumerable rivers that enter into it. Sometimes lusty women approach a pure devotee, and sometimes speculative philosophers try to argue against the personality of Godhead. But with all such ordinary people, a pure devotee is detached and undisturbed in his blissful Krishna consciousness. It's very nice description. Like the devotee always rejoices, always eager to be with the Lord. He always rejoices when he can think and remember of the Lord, and whenever he cannot remember the Lord, he feels morose in his heart. And he is actually very detached from whatever happened in this material world. People might accuse him or criticize him or be against him. He don't care much. And that we find in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Gita summarized, where Lord Krishna speaks about the Atmaramas. And that's the qualities he brings actually out of the Atmaramas. They are totally detached of whatever is happening in this world. There is sometimes the devotees are just so nice and so much worth of glorification that the Lord himself is glorifying them. We have the situation when Durvasa Muni had offended Ambarish Maharaj and was followed by the chakra, and he came finally to Narayan and asked him for help. And Narayan told him, you have to ask Ambarish Maharaj for forgiveness, because I have my heart. If you want me to forgive, I need my heart to forgive. I cannot forgive without my heart. And my heart, I have given it to my devotee Ambarish Maharaj. So if you want forgiveness, my forgiveness, you have to go to him. He has my heart. And there is also a very nice verse when, in the story where Bhrigu Muni was asked to check out who is the highest deity. Is it Vishnu, Brahma or Shiva? And then he comes to Narayan and he kick Narayan on the chest. And then Narayan is actually glorifying Bhrigu. And this is actually quoted in Bhagavatam 10:89, 10:11 verses. So Lord Vishnu speaks to Bhrigu Muni. Please purify me. My realm and the realms of the universal rulers devoted to me by giving us the water. Sorry, there was a comma here. So I read it again. Please purify me. My realm and the realms of the universal rulers devoted to me by giving us the water that has washed your lotus feet. This only water is indeed what makes all places of pilgrimage sacred. Today, my Lord, I have become the exclusive shelter of the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. She will constantly reside on my chest because your foot has rid it of sins. That's really amazing. Huh? Lord Vishnu speaking to Bhrigu Muni like, I am purified. All the world, all the rulers who are under me, we are all purified because of the water that has touched your feet. And now the goddess of fortune, she will reside on my chest because your kick has removed all sins from my chest. So therefore Lakshmi is now coming on my chest. Amazing, amazing. And there is another time when Lord Krishna, he's doing that all the time actually. If you see in the scripture, he's just all the time wanted to glorify his devotees. This is Krishna's hobby. This is Krishna's pleasure to glorify the devotees. I was even, sometimes I heard that the Pandavas had to go through so many difficulties, and sometimes people ask why Krishna is their friend, and he allowed them to go through so many difficulties. And I heard once that one of the reasons while Krishna sometimes put his devotees in difficulty is actually to give an example to the world how the devotees, even though in difficulties, they are actually always keeping serving the Lord, and they never forget, they never lose the north, they always keep fixed in serving the Lord and going through all the hardships. So sometimes it's even a way that Krishna is doing for his devotees to be glorified. And when Krishna was in Dwarka, he once had the desire to visit Mithila. I think it was Mithila, I'm not 100% sure, but there was two of his great devotees who were living in this town. Do you know, is it Mithila, the place where Shrutadev and Bahulashva were living? No, huh? Okay. Anyway, no matter even if it... Yeah. So Lord Krishna, actually those two devotees, Bahulashva and Shrutadev, they were great devotees of the Lord. And Dwarka was not too far. And every day they were thinking, oh, today we go and see our Lord. But every day they were, like most of us, we have so many plans and so many ideas of what we would like to do, what is good to do, but the days are just going by and we just, at the end of the day, oh, I did not manage today, okay, I try tomorrow. So the two, they always wanted to go to Dwarka to see Krishna, but they were always, oh, now I have to serve my deity, now I have to cook, and never managed to do it. So that Krishna knew their desire, he thought, I will go myself. And he went and he called all the sages. He said, you come with me, let's go and see Shrutadev and Bahulashva. And some commentators said that the sages usually never drive on chariots. They're always by feet, no vehicle or no transport. And so Krishna said, let's go to Mithila and see our two devotees. And the saints said, no, we are not going. We will go, but by feet. And then Krishna said, come on, you can make an exception here. It will be too long otherwise. So they all went to Mithila, and then Krishna, Bahulashva and Shrutadev were there to meet Krishna, and both of them were inviting Krishna and the sages to come to their homes. And then Krishna expanded himself in two forms so that he could go simultaneously to Bahulashva and simultaneously to Shrutadev. And even more amazing, he expanded two sets of saints. One set of saints for Shrutadev, one set of saints for Bahulashva. And Bahulashva was very rich, he was the king, so he made like a huge welcome for Krishna, but Shrutadev was very poor. So when Shrutadev understood Krishna is coming to my house, he went to the neighbor and he begged at least for mat, that the saints and Krishna could sit on the mat. So they all came, and because he did not have anything, I mean, most probably he gave them some water, but he did not know how to serve Krishna, so he started to dance. He took his chador and he was dancing as a service, as welcoming for Lord Krishna. And then he glorified Lord Krishna with beautiful prayers. And then at that time, after he glorified Krishna, Krishna said, Shrutadev, I think you are giving over emphasis into glorifying me. Did you see all the saints who are also here? You are doing something is wrong here. You have to glorify them as well. And the verse is actually like this in Bhagavatam. It's quoted, "My dear Brahmana, you should know that those great sages have come here just to bless you. They traveled throughout the world with me, purifying them, the worlds, with the dust of their feet." So he's giving the example. You have actually you did not see the saints. You did not see how great souls they are. You missed to actually glorifying and serve them well. And in the purport, Srila Sridhar Swami, commenter, I'm not sure if actually that's not anymore Srila Prabhupada. That's part where it's published by the BBT, and they actually quote Sridhar Swami, explaining that Lord Krishna through Shrutadev has shown that Okay. Srila Sridhar Swami explained that Lord Krishna taught Shrutadeva had shown too much reverence to him and not enough to the sages. And thus he turned the Brahmanas' attention to them. So those were some thoughts about how the devotees are glorious, how the devotees are glorified, and how even Krishna is giving us the example of how actually we should glorify the Vaisnavas. And for the end of this lecture, I want to speak a little bit about appreciating Vaisnavas. I was listening yesterday a lecture from His Holiness Radhana Swami on this particular verse, and he brings this point that actually Vaishnavas are, and that's actually coming to the verse, that Vaishnavas are always glorified. Narada Muni speaks to Yudhishthir and says, even now Prahlad Maharaj is glorified. And Yudhishthir Maharaj, and if you look Yudhishthir Maharaj and Narada Muni's discussion, and you look at the Nishinga Lila and Prahlad Maharaj, there is a huge gap. I'm not sure exactly how, at least one yuga, at least it's not in the same yuga that is happening. So many years have passed, but still Prahlad Maharaj is being glorified. So this is actually show how much actually the glories of the Vaishnava is actually eternal, is actually all the time there. So Radhanath Maharaj explained that by appreciating Vaishnavas, it's the way we can please Krishna the most. And Narada Muni is just so happy. He's just so ecstatic in just glorifying the glories of Prahlad Maharaj. And we see in this occasion, Narada Muni is actually the guru of Prahlad Maharaj. He was actually speaking to the mother of Prahlad Maharaj when he was in the womb, and he was giving all the instruction. But if we see, for example, in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Narada Muni is going through all the different levels of planetary system and going to many different devotees to find out who is the best of the devotees. And then he's coming to Prahlad, who is actually his disciple. But he is glorifying his disciple, is glorifying Prahlad. My dear Prahlad, you must be the best of devotees. And then Prahlad said, no. I'm just thinking of Krishna. I'm just sitting down, remembering Krishna, and Krishna is just serving me, taking care of me, protecting me. I'm not the best devotee. Go to Hanuman. Hanuman is the best devotee. He's all the time engaged in serving his Lord Ram. And actually the Brihad Bhagavatamrita is showing, actually, Sanatana Goswami is revealing to us how Krishna is so pleased by the quality of his real devotees, who are actually constantly engaged in glorifying other devotees. This is actually what is pleasing Krishna most. This devotee is always eager to see the good qualities of any devotees. He wants to appreciate every devotee. He wants to love and glorify every devotee. Maybe I can ask, could you open a little bit the window? Is it okay? Or let's ask the young. Yashoda Nandana. Yes? Yashoda Nandana? Yashomati Nandana. Could you bring some fresh air? I see some of us have difficulty with tiredness, so maybe it helps a little. When you give lecture, it's just so obvious. Okay. So a devotee is always eager to see the good qualities of other devotees. He always wants to appreciate other devotees and love and glorify other devotees. And we have the experience of King Prataparudra, who was actually always trying to come closer to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always rejecting because he was in the position of a king. And King Prataparudra was just so sad. He was ready actually to give up the kingdom. He said, if I cannot meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because I'm a king, then to hell my kingdom. I give up to be the king, and I want very much to be in association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then the devotees were so much, and there we see how kind, are the devotees. They were all the time trying to help King Prataparudra to come close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And finally, King Prataparudra got the chance. He disguised himself. He took away his king clothes. He disguised himself as Vaishnava. And as the Lord Chaitanya was relaxing during the Ratha Yatra at some time in a garden, then King Prataparudra came and chanted the Gopi Gita to King Prataparudra, and he was just so happy. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced King Prataparudra. And when the devotees saw that, they were just so happy. They were just so full of joy to see a devotee, the King Prataparudra is receiving the blessings, the mercy of the Lord. And we see the verse we had yesterday, actually, it touched that Prahlad Maharaj, he was actually never envious. He was never envious of Vaishnavas. And there we have the two opposites, the enviousness, because as long as we have this envy in our heart, how can we actually glorify Vaishnavas or feel happy with Vaishnavas or appreciate, actually just appreciate Vaishnava? It's just not possible. Does any one of you sometimes have some envy in your heart? Yes? Yes, I think we are all on the same boat. So Radhanath Maharaj gave actually a very nice point. He said that actually when we feel envy of other people, we are actually, the root of this envy is envy of Krishna. Because ultimately it's Krishna who is giving the opportunity and the ability to those people to do what they are doing. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the ability in men. So everything that anyone can do is actually because of Krishna. So when we are envious of someone, we are actually we are envious of Krishna. Why did he give those good ability to him and not to me? So the root of the enviousness is actually directed to Krishna. It's visible toward other people, but inside it's actually going toward Krishna. And I think that's maybe something we can keep out of today's lecture, that to see that everything good that other devotees can do is actually the mercy of Krishna. And therefore we can actually feel happy for them. And Radhanath Maharaj said that actually it is very easy to go back to Godhead. We need to chant the holy name, and we need to receive the Lord's mercy by appreciating the Vaishnavas' activities. So we receive the mercy of the Lord when we appreciate other Vaishnavas. So we get the mercy by appreciating, we chant the holy name, and then it's actually very easy to go back to Godhead. Appreciation of Vaishnava is the greatest form of glorifying the Lord. Greatest. Appreciating Vaishnava is the greatest way of pleasing the Lord. So at the end, Radhanath Maharaj explained that this envy is actually like a disease. And if we don't care for a disease, then it's just going to eat us up. It's just going to finish us up. So Radhanath Maharaj said that, he said three things. He said, one, do not act on the dictation of envy. So you have envy, but you don't act according to this feeling that you have in your action and words. You don't wander, you don't dwell on the envy, on the thought. You change, you make a change in your consciousness. And the third, by praying to the Lord for the removal of these bad qualities. So that was for today. We heard a little bit about how actually the good qualities that exist in the Lord are also present in the devotees. Not all the qualities and to different extents. Then we were hearing how the Vaishnavas are glorious, that even Lord Krishna is glorifying them, and all Shastras is just full from A to Z of the glorification of the Lord. And those are actually so relishable. And there we can see also how much envy we have in our heart. As more envy we have, as more the glorification of the Vaishnava is not really touching our heart. It's dry. It's not nice. But as more actually we are purified, as more actually we feel joy by hearing the glories of the Vaishnavas. And we had the nice quotes of Krishna himself worshipping and glorifying the Vaishnavas. And then a little at the end, appreciation of the Vaishnava and counteracting these envious feelings that are sometimes there in our heart by remembering actually it's my Lord himself who is giving them the ability to do the good that they are doing, and I should try to be happy to see my Lord doing that. So that's what I prepared for today. I don't know if you have any questions, any comments. Yeah.
I just recently had this thought about something about this envy that we feel towards other people, and I just thought of it now that for myself, when it's not overt envy, but we're not. If someone has a success or something, someone does something very well, we're just not that happy for them. But sometimes I have this feeling that because we have something that we are not doing well, or some service that we know Krishna wants us to do, but we don't do it because of fear or whatever, and we see other people do their service, then it's kind of if we can't be happy for them, it means that I have to go and see what is it that I'm not doing.
Yeah. Thank you. It reflects, when you have this feeling of envy, it reflects maybe something that is also present in you, that you should maybe do good, like very nice. Thank you.
What does the word envy have in common with maliciousness or dislike of somebody?
So what has envy to do with?
Yeah, when we say we're envious, is that relate to, like, if we feel malicious feelings or dislike, like maybe hate that person, or I dislike that person, or we become, I think malicious is the best word I can think of. How does envy relate, or is it sort of synonymous, or what is the connection between envy and disliking somebody?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there I'm not really sure of. I can think of it. I mean, for sure, when you have envy, this will develop into feeling bad toward people, acting bad, and like this. I think actually I would say it's quite of the root, because also from envy you will start criticizing people, and it might well be that from actually envy all the bad feelings toward people is originating. I mean, of course, everything comes from false ego at the ground base because of false ego. But yeah, I could not bring a shastric answer to this. Do you have maybe yourself a thought or an answer? Sometimes audience already know the answer and they ask a question to see what would you yourself answer to that?
I was just asking, I usually don't give comments. Somebody's giving class, it's their class.
Yeah.
I think you answered the question nicely.
Okay.
They are, one leads to the other.
Thank you. Divyanam, Divyanam, yeah. Sorry, I'm also tired. But when you are on the Vyasasana, it's more difficult to fall asleep. I'm also like that.
In one of the classes, I heard that this close relationship, maybe, just maybe, one partner, maybe husband, is very nice and kind to other devotees, but not to the wife. So I actually want to ask, what is all this? So is being kind to devotees, does it also mean in very close relationships also to be kind as well in the same way, or is it okay to be not kind? So, and how is it when one devotee is very advanced and one devotee is not very advanced? So I want to ask, what is about close relationships? We always very generally talking about all this, but what does it actually mean in the daily life?
Thank you. Actually, we had a marriage ceremony this weekend, and Ramananda Gopal the priest was speaking few words before the marriage, and he said, marriage life, you can get so much blessings and support each other very nicely, but don't forget your partner is a Vaishnava. So you have to remember that you can also do a lot of Vaishnava aparad also in the relationship. So it goes both ways. You need actually to be very careful. In close relationship, it's much more difficult, even for temple devotees who are all the time living with devotees. So often actually we do not observe, or we do not appreciate so much the other Vaishnavas. We think they are common people, they are normal people. When you live far away from Vaishnava and you come to the temple, you feel, wow, Vaishnavas, wow, so nice. In that sense, we say familiarity breeds content. So also, even in temple community, it's just so easy to lose appreciation for the Vaishnava and see their faults and like this. So what you say actually of close proximity, like Grihastha life, husband and wife, who are most of the time together, and there actually the purification is like super intense, like Prabhupada will say, the rocks that are polishing each other into the bag. So it's actually extra work. Actually, entering Grihastha ashram, in my experience, is actually bringing you to work on yourself 10 times more than when you are a brahmachari, and that you can do whatever, more or less. Guru might say something, authority, okay, but more or less, okay, you travel, brahmachari needs to travel, and you more or less do still quite a lot of things the way you want. But Grihastha ashram, wow, that's a tough school for learning. And there you have actually not only to tolerate, but you have also to learn to be kind and to work on yourself. And sometimes when there is lack of respect, it can be that it's a sign of unwillingness to work on yourself. And it's painful when you know you have to work on yourself and you are maybe just unable to do it. You just don't have the strength or the intelligence. You know you have to, but you are not able to do. It's such a painful feelings into the heart. At the same time, we have the philosophy, we have lecture, we hear of what are the things that needs to be done, but it's in the hands of everyone actually to go into application of that. It's actually our duty or our only chance that we actually take it as our work. That's what it will not work just to hear. I mean, it might take a lot of time, but we have also to work and act upon that. Then you have the whole sphere of psychology of so many different people who are in a different way and things like this, and why they act like this, and their childhood and all those things. That's also to be considered. We don't make that as a prime option. Our ways, we serve Krishna and pray to Krishna, but sometimes when there are some difficulties, it might be good also to check there and see. Sometimes, like if we break our arm, we will put a gips around at the time that it's cured, and then we can do service again. So if you have also psychological slight disorder here and there, it makes sense to just cure it, and then you can serve Krishna maybe a little better, and you might avoid also some apparat and things like this. And we have the association of the devotees. We have devotees who have maybe more experience in those situations that can give us a hand and can help us. But yeah, it's a deep work. Grihastha life, it's a deep work, and they are never also only one. It's always two are sharing the responsibility. It's always when they are like this. The best is to check what are the triggers of the other and be careful to not press the wrong button. And okay, so I think Misha. Okay.
He's saying that, so that means that the goal of Varnashrama is that we always live together with someone, whether it's in the Brahmacharya ashram or in the Grihastha ashram, and in this way we can purify ourselves. This was what Prabhupada meant when he said that we shouldn't live by ourselves.
It's see the natural journey of most of the human beings will go through the 4 ashrams. This is like 90% of the population has to go through that way. You will have a 10% of Naishtika brahmacharis who can do it. They don't need to go through it, and they can remain brahmacharis their whole life. That's very, very small amount. And those, they went already through Grihastha ashram many life before. So they don't need any more of the training. They are done with that. But in general, this is Grihastha ashram will be very supportive and very helpful for purifying ourselves and learning to be selfless. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I heard it sounded like he was asking if you need to be with somebody. Or be like,
If I
you
sorry.
always need association, or can you just be on your own?
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, regarding to that, we always need actually to be under the care and shelter of some devotees. Either the spiritual master, the Diksha Guru, or either Shiksha Gurus, or senior devotees, or devotees who are around us. In Chaitanya Charitamrita is described as Shiksha Guru should be people who knows you, people who loves you, and people who are more advanced than you. Those are the person to whom you should seek guidance. But Prabhupada will say, if you think you can become Krishna conscious alone, this is hallucination. This is just no way to go. So in any case, we need actually to be under the care and the shelter of the devotees. Thank you. You'd like to add something on this? No, you said you don't like to comment. Yeah. Yes, Yashomati Nandana.
It's a common question, a classical question. The question would be that if we feel envy or certain feelings around society or the community, then the question would be, how then could we appreciate, or then if somebody hurt us on one cheek, how then can we turn the other cheek? In that sense, how can we be forgiving and appreciating, even though we have been hurt on one side?
It's always good to clarify, because whenever there are those hurt feelings, a lot of time there are some, we call that assumption. We assume, okay, we assume the person wanted to hurt us. We assume that he told this because of that, and things like this. And sometimes it's just our own mental concoction. Maybe the person even did not want to hurt us, but that's how we took it. So it's always good maybe to clarify with non-violent communication. Prabhuji, I felt like this and like this at that time. What did you think, or what was your intention when this happened, or like this? I just would like to understand it. So if you do it into the right way, I will speculate 50% of the time. It's actually only our assumptions that create problem. Like the Avaduta Brahmana was hurted from people right, left. People were just so heavy on him. And at the end he said, it's nothing to do with the stars. It's nothing to do with my karma. It's just my mind. It's just because of my mind. So it might be good to clarify when there are something like this. And if we have persons who are just like wanting to hurt us or something like this, or who are just doing, then we take distance from them, and then we keep respectful distance from them to not, I mean, it's not that, okay, keep beating, no, then we just keep our distance. But it's good to clarify, it's good maybe to involve authorities into it if it continues, and if it's, but like Kamala Sita was saying, it's actually always good, not that we want to stay in a place where we are beaten up, but this is actually the devotee's vision, is what do I have to learn? Why is Krishna giving me this situation now? What is because we believe it's everything Krishna, that every Krishna allow everything that happened to happen. So what is Krishna wanted to teach me? I always remember this story, but I never remember if it was Gorkishore Das Babaji or Jagannath, but I think it was Gorkishore Das Babaji who was walking in the street, and children were taking stones and were throwing stone on him. And then he turned back and he said, Krishna, if you don't stop immediately, I will tell everything to Mother Yashoda. And then the boys ran away. But he could see that's Krishna who is doing that through the boy. And so this is actually the vision we want to develop, that everything happened is coming through Krishna, and we have, okay, what do I have to learn here and there? So clarifying, bring transcendent, big spiritual vision into the situation, pray. Usually the situation, if you don't give back, if you don't keep putting fire into the wood into the fire, then usually it just like solved by itself. I mean, that's a general answer for a general question. Usually those things can be much more intricate and can be discussed a little bit more. Thank you. So let's hope today we keep a lot of appreciation for the devotees. We might like to glorify devotees. That's such a good exercise. Sometimes we did it in the Istagosti, that we turn around and everyone give a glorification to another one. It's not easy. It's not easy to see the good in others. Not easy. It's actually a very nice exercise. You can even do it on your own. Because also I thought I could bring that as a question if no one has a question, because we have actually said we should not glorify. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, if one glorifies me, is it my enemy? Huh? So how do we bring the two together? So actually we should glorify the devotees in the association of the devotees. We don't usually glorify devotees, just we are the two of them and we glorify the other. I remember once Kadamba Swami was here and I was saying, oh Maharaj, your kirtan, your lecture, just so inspired, and I take so much of it. And then he patted my back and said, yes. Like, okay, don't give me the cream now, it's okay. But in the association of devotees, it's actually very nice to glorify. And we can see His Holiness Radhanath Swami, or very often when there are senior devotees in the group, he starts a lecture and he will take 10 minutes to glorify that particular devotee. And that's actually very nice way to do. But we can do it even in our mind. We can. Okay, we take prasad and we see, okay, Krishna Chandra is there in the order table. What do I like in Krishna Chandra? What are his good qualities that I feel, oh, he's so serious, he's coming even before Mangalarati, he's already chanting rounds and so punctual, and he has he's very he's a happy person by nature, of a jolly and easygoing type of person. Oh, I would like so much, I'm just so... I would like so much to have a little bit of this jolly nature. Something like this, it's actually very healthy and very nice exercise we can do as a takeaway today to appreciate devotee and see good qualities in devotees. Because this is what Narada Muni is doing. He's speaking to Yudhishthira Maharaj and say, oh, this Prahlad is just so nice. And he's just in the ecstasy of glorifying Prahlad Maharaj. Sorry. No sorry. In Braj they say, no sorry, no thank you. Radhe Radhe. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.